looking forward to our time together today to address a variety of topics that may emerge. And we have 3 classes left. So 9 down.
Can we
today.
extend?
Hmm?
Can we extend?
If it were up to me, we would. I appreciate that. However, our journey together doesn't stop. And our capacity to connect, engage. In fact, you saw Daniel Zhang, 7 years later. We're in contact every year. It's a mutual, fight. He's an extraordinary attorney. He was here in this room. He sat right there where Sam's sitting on a regular basis. So our journey does continue. And even if we're just in each other's minds, your journey and your relationship to this continues and will continue to take shape and form. And that's really what's intended. So we're planting seeds. We talked about this the very first day. We're watering those seeds. We all have different seeds in certain respect, but they sort of come from the same, primary source. And we have different conditions, different soil conditions, different weather conditions, but every time we practice and many other things that we do in life and things that happen in life, the seeds get watered, right? They get nurtured and they grow. And we never know exactly the form that they're going to take, the beautiful aspects that emerge in ourselves and others. But we can certainly do things to cultivate this garden of which we are a part and others are a part. So I'm glad that we've had 9 weeks, 10, 9 today, 3 to go, to continue that and to make the most of them. I think this is one of the big keys, to really make the most of our time together. This is why I try to go to bed relatively early the night before, so I can make the most of it by being here for it as much as possible. And Peyton, the Sherlock Holmes, you have a keen capacity to pay attention. Of course, I'm wondering, is she hear me or is she still listening to the...
I have this one out.
That doesn't answer the question.
No, it's just noise canceling on the other one.
Well, no, you have a great capacity to attend to a lot of things, and you're very observant. You're very observant.
Yeah.
So this is whose pipe is this?
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes gathers data. Very observant. Observant. He's not thinking, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? He'll have thoughts about what he observes. Those just happen anyway. But he has the capacity to observe. And then when he notices something, to then have that bright light bulb that allowed him to notice something over here on the ground, the little piece of thread after some crime that everybody else overlooked because they were so busy thinking they knew where they wanted to go or lost in their own thoughts, but his light bulb's bright enough that he's able to say, I don't know for sure where I'm supposed to be attending, but I know that this is an environment in which to be attentive and aware. Then he sees the thread, and then he's able to now what? What happens with his attention when he sees the thread and it suggests to him that it's worth attending to? What happens to his flashlight?
It follows up there.
It goes there, right? And then he gets closer, and if your flashlight is on the data, is on the evidence or potentially relevant evidence, what are you likely to gather more of as a result of your flashlight being there and staying there?
Useful evidence.
Useful evidence, information. So it's not just seeing the thread, but then it's able to really get what you can get from the thread. And of course, the thread could be opposing counsel in the way that their demeanor and what they're saying, or it could be a witness on the stand. It could be anything. We want to be attending to those things that are important to attend to. He's not walking over and saying, what's this, what's this? He's not just like randomly selecting things. It's a process, but it's a process informed by being aware and observant, to be able to discriminate and be discerning. If while we're here I have a thought which is sort of like, oh, I wonder what I'm going to do for dinner, I'm able to, if I'm aware of that thought, I'm able to discard it And if I'm like, oh, so-and-so is a little bit like maybe reserved, removed, I wonder if they're okay, if everything's okay. Probably is, of course, but I just don't know. I could say, I'm going to remember to follow up on that, right? Or I might craft our discussion in a way that might be attentive to so what you do with the evidence that you become attentive to is really then not a matter of mindfulness. Mindfulness has done its job. It's brought you to a place that's useful. And now it's all your skills and all your practices. And we were talking about trial practice yesterday, right? And lit skills. It's like you're learning all this stuff. And I think as Daniel Zhang commented on, in many ways what we're learning, he called it the tangential, sort of related material to the practice of law, helps to develop skills that we can bring into the practice of law. And he gave some pretty good examples that we'll talk about. So this is just a reminder that in many ways, it takes, it's not till the end of the story that you have the reveal, because the evidence is gathered. Assumptions aren't made too early, and if they are, they're recognized as maybe premature assumptions. So let's keep our Sherlock Holmes. I should probably bring the hat, better a hat than a pipe, but all right.
Wait, for our Halloween class, can you come as Sherlock Holmes?
We could all come as Sherlock Holmes. Great idea. You're like gulping up.
I'll do it.
You'll do it?
Yeah.
Okay, so next week, whether you want to do it in some grand way, which is not necessary, but certainly wide open, or in some subtle way. Next week, you'll remind me, because I might forget. We'll go around and share our, like, did you wear green for St. Patrick's Day? My green is in my socks, whatever that might be. Whatever way that you have chosen to bring Sherlock Holmes as you understand that character into the day. All right, yeah?
Are you going to do it in a grand way or a subtle way?
Me? I have no idea.
You should do it in a grand way. Lead by example. Tie us all together.
I'm confident you did. I know you did. In fact, you watched and listened to the Daniel Zhang. You all lead by example way better than I do. Did you find? Not bad.
Yeah, you sounds like you're not gonna dress up.
Well, I'm not dressing up.
Why?
It's Halloween.
It's Halloween. You only live once.
And you get to hopefully live through a lot of Halloweens.
But only one with us, all together, and then never again. And maybe your next class won't even suggest this, so it's like, you'll have to take the initiative or it just will never happen.
Next year Halloween's on Saturday.
Yeah, so it's over, that's it. So unless you want to wait 2 years, so maybe remember.
Sherlock Holmes metaphor, Sam, is really a quality of mind.
Yes.
It's an internal expression. And I will do my best to inhabit that as
Okay.
slowly as I may.
Okay.
But the answer is that I have no idea. Because the idea was just presented. And as we sometimes might say in court, when something's thrown out, we could say, that's really interesting. I'm going to think about that. And we can offer ourselves the grace and the space to not feel the urgent impulse to respond because of the clever. All right. In 2 weeks, not next week, Sherlock Holmes Day, but the week after that, we will be meeting at 8:30. Where?
The Low Art.
At the Low Art Museum. Raise your hand if you don't know where the Low Art Museum is. Okay. It's a 3-4 minute walk that way.
Oh.
It's next to the business school, if you know where that is. It's in the direction of US 1. It's across, what?
It's more than 3 minutes. That's a brisk walk.
Yeah.
Get to that house.
It's closer
How
to
long
I
is
thought
it?
it was by the
I
entrance.
would say like 6. Yeah, it's like 6-7 minutes.
It's by
right?
Pavia.
I can get to the time.
Yeah, close
It's
Okay.
by
to
the garage.
Good, because
Like across.
I
Yeah.
could just imagine all the people late going, well, you said it was 3
I'm imagining me sweating on my way there.
Yeah, okay, good. I'll probably leave here, my office. I'll probably come down to the bricks at, I was going to say 3 minutes till, probably at 8, a little after 8:20, and maybe 8:23. I'll be down here at 8:23, giving 1 extra minute leeway. So if anybody wants to meet at the bricks, I'll probably be there at 8:23, but I'm not expecting you all to be meeting at the Bricks at 8:23. Just be at the Low Art Museum at 8:30, okay? They open the doors just for us.
Oh.
And we'll spend a little bit of time with mindfulness and art, and in a museum that some of you have never been to before. Others of you may have just dropped in on it periodically. It's an extraordinary museum, a real gift to our campus and our community. It's been here for a long time. It's one of the first of its kind here in South Florida. And it's got some pretty impressive collections and a lot of exhibits that run through it. And you'll also meet an extraordinary person who we collaborate with. We've collaborated for several years since she got here, and before her, there were 11 years of collaboration in terms of bringing us over there and spending an hour and a half or so there. We then come back here. We'll take a break on the way, and the class continues until its regularly scheduled endpoint. Yes.
What do you mean by first of its kind?
Well, I'll let Tola speak to that, but I think the short answer is in the 1950s there weren't museums in South Florida that would have that quality of artwork in terms of the donations that were made. One particular donor, the Crest family, provided a great deal of very impressive work. They're the ones that created the Crest 5 and Dime, if you've ever heard of that. Very well regarded, like Walgreens, a long time ago. But she can speak more specifically. I think that's a great question. And in fact, I'm glad that I'll learn a little bit more about that as a result. Okay. Dan, yes. Yeah. 2 weeks from now. Yes. 2 weeks from now. The reading for that week will be the reading on the chapter, at least the chapter on creativity. So that'll be a reminder to you. It's reading a chapter on creativity. You'll be doing some more creative. Of course, we've done creative things along the way, including today. I'm looking forward to us looking at our drawings that brought another aspect, in this case gratitude, into the mindfulness practice itself. Daniel Zeng. What kind of law does he practice? Patent litigation. Graduated about when? 2020. Where did he live? Where does he practice? Chicago. What were some of the things you took away? I'm going to scribble down something just that I might remember that might be pertinent. Okay, so I'll make sure that if something isn't addressed, these would be the kinds of things that I would be thinking about. They might inform what you're thinking. Yes.
My favorite part was when he was talking about like the duration of his practice. So he practices like 2 minutes in the morning and 2 minutes at night, which doesn't seem like, a lot of time to really, I guess, drop into the purpose of the practice, but because he does it every day. And he had said like the longer periods of practice in class had introduced him to the idea. But I guess the frequency in which he practices and the fact that he still makes time every day, even if it's only 4 minutes total, to do and it sounded like he was doing kind of more of a focused attention practice, was really inspiring to me, especially being in he's in patent litigation, so obviously he doesn't have much time to do anything in his free time, but the practice is still just as important if you only get to spend 2 minutes in the morning and 2 minutes at night doing it, which was really inspiring to me.
Yeah, and so good. Let's build on that. Is it always exactly 2 minutes in the morning or exactly 2 minutes at night? In the morning, it'll be however long it takes to do what?
His to-do list.
To-do list, right? So it could be 2 minutes. He sets it up for 2 minute practice or 3 minute practice. And in the evening, he practices to serve what purpose?
Like relaxing.
To relax. So at night, the practice is sort of a what?
Settling.
It's a settling technique. And in the morning, the practice is sort of a what?
Focused attention.
It's a focused attention practice, so it is a practice, and he dovetails it with something that's productive. But it's a practice. Do we see how it's a practice? And do we see how we might sit down to write down, oh, what am I going to do today, where it's not a practice. It's just a thing to do, and it might not be as, it might not have the return on investment of time and energy because of what happening along the way.
Distractions.
Hmm?
Distractions.
Distractions. And so and those distractions can not only add time to it, they can also create a feeling of what? Anxiety. So in addition to it being a focused attention practice, it also might in some ways be a settling technique. He's bringing them together. I know Carolina's like
Yeah,
well
I'm
on
like,
her
it's
way.
just me and you right now.
Everyone up the game. No, you're all up in the game. And yes, I would say the idea that you can have a daily practice that is both useful, because it's very practical to him, right? He's doing it in a way that's practical, but also with our deeper understanding of what mindfulness practices entail, have it be an actual practice. And I'll share with you 4 minutes of practice a day, and he may do more. He talked about how periodically he drops in and does, but even if it were just that, 4 minutes a day, at least 20 minutes a week, an hour and 20 minutes minimum a month, 12 hours and 15 hours a year, 15 hours of practice. And it's, accumulates. So nice. I think that was a very important part of what he shared. And importantly, it's how it matured for him. It's how his garden has grown. I didn't say, by the way, do a there we have over there. I didn't say do a mindful planning practice. We never did in class a mindful planning practice. We never did a mindful planning practice.
There's remarkably more space here, though the other chairs
You sit one sit
there.
next to me, it's all good.
I mean, you can see for yourself.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you. I'll get my dog today. No dog for me.
So what I think what we just talked about for the last 10 or so minutes is probably going to be really pivotal and important as instructions that you'll find invaluable for your paper. And we're not going to discuss it again.
Well, now I'm like curious as to what you mean in that respect. Like how is I
Yeah,
understand. I was like, what do you mean?
That was for Nick's benefit.
And I got that after. but
Yeah, no, there's nothing we didn't discuss anything about the paper that was fundamentally important that we're not going to discuss again.
Meeting in 2 weeks at 8:30 at the art museum.
I'm good for that. I had a crazy morning.
All right.
I mean,
What did you think of the Daniel Zhang video? We're talking about the podcast with Daniel. What was some of your takeaways?
I didn't get to the Daniel.
Ah, okay. I appreciate your being very clear on that. Who else? What did you take away from the Daniel Zhang video podcast?
I've kind of
No,
spoken.
I'm not.
Oh,
No,
I was
you
just
have to
gonna
wait.
say, okay.
So first of all, let me know. I want you to know we have 3 weeks left, and I have like a list where it's like check marks almost. It's a mental, but it's pretty. Where like how many times you all have participated, right? Some of you it's like da 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 boom da 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 boom da 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 boom. Some of you it's like da da. Now some of you're participating, as far as I'm concerned, with a very keen, centered quality of attentiveness, and that to me counts as participation. You're there, you're following it. That is also participation. Maybe you've, outside of class, engaged in conversations to discuss the class, etc. That to me is a form of participation. But our classroom is the time that just lends itself so naturally to participation. So I'm looking around, and if it's on a scale from low, medium to high, I see the lows, I see the mediums, I see the highs. And everything any of you have ever said has been really important. There's no doubt about it. And if it was not unlike Nick, I remember you were sitting there or there, and it was like, what did I just say? And you were like, I don't remember. That was hugely important. It opened up a conversation that we wouldn't have otherwise had. And I love you as much now as I did 7 minutes ago. The fact that you're like, I didn't watch the video doesn't impact my regard for you. And usually the truth does not impact another person's regard for you, even if you may not have done what they were asking or expecting. So, what else did you take away from the Daniel Zhang video podcast? Yeah.
I was going to say kind of similar to like it being compared to exercise, the mindfulness practice and mindfulness in general, but mindfulness practice is not the most important thing that you'll do that day, but it'll be like the most important thing you'll do every day. Like, and seeing it for like the greater picture and like your quality of life and just your awareness and how because he would do the focused attention even if it was 2 minutes in the morning but just like having the time to do a little bit and prioritizing that is like what I got away from it.
Okay, nice. And do you recollect how he talked about how it might pay dividends during the day when he's talking with, say, a partner or getting an assignment?
Yeah, to help like in litigation and just to calm him down and to be like better at representing his clients because he's more aware and present in the moment. So.
Okay, and so if we can drill down and anybody can chime in, what, while a partner is talking to him, giving him an assignment, did he speak to is how it is that morning practice, I agree with everything you said, very important, could be helpful in the moment of interacting with that partner so that the client representation, et cetera, moves to a higher level because of what's happening along the way. Sam?
He was talking about how you like keep your attention locked in on the partner as they're asking you the question instead of like jumping the gun and starting to think about how you're going to answer it and then missing all the important details from the point that your mind wanders and you just get caught up in that.
Okay, and so the way you described it from the first part suggested like, so you don't have those errant thoughts, but then the way you winded that up suggested that you may well have those errant thoughts. Are you going to have that? Is the mind going to drift while someone's talking?
Yeah.
Okay, and what is it that allows us to get back on track?
The fact that you notice it.
The fact that you notice it, right? And he's speaking to that. So every time he does his mindful planning practice in the morning, he is developing the capacity to notice mind wandering that's serving him as a means to an end in terms of that list he's generating, and also developing the very skill set that allows that to be generalizable and halo into the rest of his day. Right? And he spoke to that. So thank you for that, and thank you for that. What else from Daniel Zhang? What was his evening practice? Yeah.
Before he went to bed, to like clear his mind, he would practice.
To what?
To clear his mind.
Clear his mind.
No, he would use a practice to help clear his mind from his whole day of work.
What does it mean to clear one's mind?
To stop thinking.
I've been doing this for 35 years, and I never had that. I'm just so intrigued.
Well, clear
and
his
I work
mind on
with
a certain
neuroscientists,
subject.
and they say, so I'm sorry, say it again.
On
I've
a certain
interrupted you 4
subject.
times. I'm not going to interrupt you with that.
Okay. You didn't interrupt me, did you?
I did,
It's
but I
okay.
won't worry. I'm okay with that. But here's the question. Let me rephrase the first question, because then I want you to get to the answer, which I think is you're on to something important. Can you actually stop having any thoughts?
No.
Okay. So to clear our mind is a nice phrase that resonates with me. It resonates with me. If somebody goes, oh, I do it to clear my mind, I get that there's something there that's meaningful and that those words are pointing to something, but they're not pointing to an actual, somehow, like there's a room with a lot of things in it and I'm clearing them all away and now the room is empty, right? That's not the way it works. In fact, have you ever had it where you've had thoughts about things and it was a very meaningful, useful, not at all anxious process of generating ideas or getting work done?
Yeah.
Okay. And would you say in those moments it felt like your mind was somewhat clear?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I say this because in your paper, if you write mindfulness helps you clear your mind of thoughts, that won't serve you well in the paper. Unless you say, that's a phrasing I like, and let me share a little bit more about what I mean. Because otherwise your reader, if they're a scientist, a neuroscientist, an attention researcher, might say, I'm done with this paper, because this person is sort of talking out of turn, right? But I understand what you mean by it. Okay, so he does it in the evening to clear his mind
Of his workday.
of thoughts of his work.
Yes, to like stop thinking about the trial he has going on, or
Now, if we, I said I wasn't going to interrupt you, but
don't worry.
you say clear the mind, so I think we're closer now. Clear the mind of thoughts of the workday. That's a little bit more. But even the clearing suggests that they're laying there and you're sweeping them away. The moment you have a thought about the workday at night, what happens to that thought a moment later? Gone. There's nothing to clear away. But if you're not aware fully that you're having that thought, and now you're caught up in that thought, what might be your next experience mentally? Another thought about, and then another thought about, and it proliferates. So to clear our mind of thoughts of the workday might be to be more what? Of the thoughts that are arising in our mind about the workday. More aware. And then we dispense with it how we choose, right? And he, of course, does it a certain way. So I'm going back. Yes, please. Gabby,
Rewind.
evening, what do you think, what was he sharing there?
He uses his practice at night to become aware of his workday thoughts and refocus to calming ideas or other things.
What in particular does he say he returns his attention to?
Oh, I don't remember what he said for that.
Okay, good. Anybody? What does he bring his attention to? The breath.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right?
I remember now.
Yeah, okay, good. But it's even bigger than that. It's what you spoke to. He directs his attention where he chooses. Because now that he's aware that he is wrapping around early stuff or tomorrow stuff, with that he can then pivot. And he generally will say, I just want to fall asleep. I'm breathing. It's here. He knows there's value in sort of maybe slowing down or just resting attention on the breath, and he brings his attention back to the breath because he wants to fall asleep. But he also commented at one point that sometimes he'll have thoughts about what? That he'll find satisfying. And he won't so readily bring his attention back. He'll make a different type of decision.
Wasn't it like daydreams?
He might daydream, and he might think about family and relationships that are satisfying, that give him a satisfying feeling. This, of course, touches on what topic for today? Gratitude and connection. And then he might linger there. But he knows where his mind is. I mean, you can be thinking about the bar exam, knowing you're thinking about the bar exam, and still feel what? Anxious. And you can think about the bar exam and not know you're thinking about the bar exam, and probably, depending upon how you relate to the bar exam, feel what? Now, I'll just share with you that my experience is if I'm aware of where my mind is and it happens to be landing on a place that's creating a little anxiety, it's a little less anxious. But even if it were exactly the same, because this is the power of attention. You place your attention on something, and then there's a series of thoughts or conditioned beliefs around that something, and now you have an impact. It impacts you. It's the spiral in a way, which may be a big spiral or a little spiral. We talked about this in our conversations. But if I'm aware that that's where my mind is going, and I'm feeling a little anxious, what might I do? I could do a settling technique. And I could also redirect my attention to where it was a few moments ago, which might have been on my breath as I was laying in bed falling asleep. But I have the choice. And if I happen to think about something else, like maybe you have a hearing the next day, and maybe you're like, oh my God, what a great idea. I probably would say, what do you think? Back to my breath?
I'm not going to sleep.
Or what?
Like I'm not going to sleep. Let me go right down.
Well, I might write something down, right? Now, if you get, so the point is you have a choice. Between stimulus and response, this is a line we've talked about before, between stimulus and response, there is a space. Within that space is the power to choose our response. Well, how large is that space? It's a psychological space. It's not necessarily time, though it certainly could bring about time. There's another saying that I don't think I've shared with you all. It comes from the Taoist tradition, from a book called the Tao Te Ching. And this is one particular stanza. It goes something like this. And maybe we can draw upon this in our coming weeks. Do you have the patience to wait? Do you have the patience to wait? For the mud to, what do you think? It begins with an S.
Settle?
To settle. Do you have the patience to wait for the mud to settle? Okay, you can imagine there's a lake. You all ever been into a lake? Been jump into a lake, silt comes up or something? And if you sort of get out of the lake and you sort of, what just begins to happen to the silt? It settles. But if you're in the lake going, oh, settle, it's not going to happen, right? Because you're just agitating it with your effort for it to settle. Even if you got out of the lake and you are trying to smooth it over, it's just going to agitate it. Do you have the patience to wait for the mud to settle and the water to become what? Clear. So, and many times when we find ourselves agitated or scattered or whatever it might be that we know probably in that moment isn't serving us well, it's probably the case that the mud is all over the place. We can't see clearly. What metaphor would the mud all over the place align with?
Snow.
The snow globe. What other metaphor would it align with?
The spiral.
The spiral.
That too.
And what did you say?
I said like choppy waves.
Yeah, choppy waves, but we didn't.
But
Yeah,
I guess they don't settle.
no, choppy waves do settle. What?
Maybe. I mean, it depends where you are. Are you in the lake? Are you in the ocean?
I think it depends on do you have the patience. Okay, so do you have the patience to wait for the mud to settle? When we talk about getting outside and looking at the snow globe, when we talk about observing the spiral, we're talking about moving into the observant Sherlock Holmes capable, not so easy to muster, because oftentimes we just want it to settle. Quality of mind, so that the water can become clear. If this is a light bulb, is the clear a brighter or a dimmer light bulb? Are we more aware of what's taking place when the water is clear around us and within us? Till, and this is the part that I think is really what makes it really impactful to me, till the right answer, because we're always looking for the right answer, the thing to do next, the more effective way of saying or doing or not doing or writing or submitting or don't submit or listening or saying something, interrupting and steering the conversation or just sort of listening. I mean, it's a million billion different variations across a lifetime of countless experiences. There's no way to have the answer. That's why do not interrupt is like don't interrupt. It's about being aware of the impulse and then deciding what you choose to do. Because once again, you've got the awareness. I see. till the right answer arises by by itself. Einstein said, this is a disc, by the way. This is you spinning a disc. I don't know if you, I think you do probably. Because Akash is a DJ, if you all didn't know.
Oh.
He's missing a pupil though.
Yeah.
It's really cute. I can see that.
Oh my god, can you please fix it?
Scary.
Can you make the eyes?
It looks pretty good.
Oh my god, guys. He's not
I don't know.
It's not in the field of art.
That's like the Toto heart.
Because
There's Akash
Wow.
sitting there, and he has a thought itself.
Don't draw me.
Right? I asked a question, and an answer came. My guess is you didn't go searching for it. You know, the right answer arises by luck. My guess is you didn't go through a list, but somehow the word came to you. Somehow the right answer arose by itself. And that's not sufficient, though. Then you had to make a decision whether or not to say it. And you did. And I'm grateful that you did. So, Einstein said, the intellect has little to do on the road to discovery. Einstein, the great genius of many times. The intellect has little to do on the road to discovery. It has something to do on the road to discovery. But we're all really smart. There's a lot of physicists that are really smart. There's a lot of mathematicians that are really smart. So to move into his domain of pursuit. And he said the intellect has little to do on the road to discovery. And discovery is, gets juicy. On the road to discovery. He says, call it intuition if you will. And the answer comes to you and you don't know how or why. So if I were to say, how'd you come up with that answer? You might be able to confabulate a response. But it just came to you. I'm making some assumptions, of course. I think it's really terrific. Raise your hand if you've ever experienced this, where the right answer just came to you. And raise your hand if you at times struggled for the right answer. Maybe this was a contributing factor in the, and sometimes you have the right answer, and then you begin to feel self-conscious about offering it. What do you think self-conscious does to the water? Muddies it. It becomes another spiral. It becomes another shaking. So this awareness, and to be aware and aware and aware, bears many fruit. Okay, thank you for being patient with your
I would just suggest a rephrasing of
of a 2,000 year old.
I would
appreciate
say till the best answer, because I'm very much a perfectionist and I'm always constantly waiting for the right answer, and there is no necessarily right answer. You have to either act or not act.
Okay, so what's really interesting about that is this. Of course, this is a translation. And this particular translation comes by a well-regarded translator, although even I think the way he described what he does, he's one of the most popular, is he actually is piecing it together from a lot of translations and himself is not a master translator. So I'm going to find out, and I encourage you and anybody, it's the Tao Te Ching, maybe you've heard of it. By Lao Tzu. Spelled that wrong. And possibly others, is the way these things came to be. It's a wonderful book, by the way. It's a wonderful treatment. There's many, many powerful statements about a lot of things. It's really a manual for sort of navigating life. So my response to what you said would be this, not disagreeing, but sort of sharing my perspective. I'm not interested in the best answer, because I'm never going to come up with the best answer, ever. No matter how hard I try, there's probably a better answer. But there's answers that are way good enough, and that's the right one to offer in that time. So this might be a definitional thing about what right means and what best means. I encourage you to, and maybe that's what you meant by best, I don't know.
I mean, like best in the circumstances,
Yeah,
essentially.
best in the circle. Okay, good. Good. I agree with that completely. But I am going to look at the translations and come back and say how was it actually or most recognized as accurately? What was that term? Because I think that's a very interesting consideration. But I agree with you completely. The best answer in the circumstances. Right. Right. Not the. Yeah. Good. All right. So Daniel offers you a practice for the evening to help fall asleep. He offers you a practice in the morning that integrates with actually getting something done that's productive. If you all in the morning, a lot of people say, sit down, plan out your day. A lot of people want to do that. They get anxious. They can't do it. They're too antsy. They're too restless. They get up and they just want to move on. Or you're preparing for a hearing, or you're preparing for a meeting. You want to maybe write down sort of key things. Some of you do this very well and very naturally and very easily, while others of us can get anxious and we sort of shortcut the process. He's offering a methodology for being able to do that. He talked about the breath in court. He talked about the breath at the piano. He talked about the breath as a device that can be very helpful for getting back on track and or optimizing and enhancing whatever that performance is. And when we're in court, it's a performance. And when we're playing the piano at a concert, it's a performance. Not necessarily theater, but expression. That matters. He talked about the application in court. He talked about the application when we're talking with a partner, giving an assignment. And he spoke to how the practice set him up for this capacity to be right, and how ongoing practice can be helpful in that regard. All right. Thank you, Daniel. We mentioned how the Low Art Museum next week, we're meeting, or 2 weeks, we're meeting at 8:30, so it's a reminder for that. And if you're planning that, you might want to plan that now, put it on your calendar now, so that 3 days before, when you get to the creativity assignment and you see on the website that it says reminder, you're not then realizing I promised so-and-so that I would do this, or whatever it might be.
Oh, and we're dressing up like Sherlock Holmes next Friday. For Halloween. Yeah, we are.
Who wants to give William the instruction for next week, which
I just
emerged
did.
from the class, and in particular from.
I didn't hear.
Oh, we're dressing up like Sherlock Holmes next week.
But don't just tell
Whatever-
him. Tell everyone.
Whatever extent.
Say it out loud. Say it loud and
did.
proud.
Did no one hear me? We're dressing up like Sherlock Holmes to whatever extent you want. But like, don't be lame
I'm
and
not
just wear like
buying
a
it.
sock.
I'm gonna come in and be the only one dressed
Come
up
on.
like Sherlock.
No, we actually are. I'll send you a picture of my outfit the night before.
I need
To whatever degree you want, even if it means.
I'll get you a fedora.
Do you all have your leave?
It's on my desk.
Do you have my
I
leave?
swear it is.
Mine might be in the bottom right. It's not like you.
He didn't teach you to leave.
It's dry.
My email.
Yeah, I'm fine with whatever.
Tika, do you have my
I
leave?
shoved it in
I brought mine in here. Journal too.
You have it maybe? That's so sweet.
I kept it, but I can't find it.
I saw my leaf on Wednesday, now it's gone.
Dang, mine was so nice.
I did.
Right?
And I still, I saw it
I don't know where I put it.
Oh, I found it.
Nice, so funny.
I saw it Wednesday and now it's not there.
Maybe it's
Ready?
actually that's so good.
Oh my god, it's so shriveled up.
Is it mine?
Yeah, it's
I think he's getting a leaf. He's getting a leaf.
No, he said he was going to the bathroom. But he also doesn't have
Oh, poor guy.
She left it with me for safekeeping in
Oh.
case we had to show and tell our leaves.
Oh, that was very,
So I held on to
you wrote
it.
your name on it?
Well, now she knew it was mine versus hers.
Yeah.
Great. Okay,
And it was already dead.
creativity in action. All right.
So ugly. It's all dead now.
Yeah, you're the one that brought
That's
death into the
pretty color.
conversation last week. It's all dead now.
It was like bright green when I. Yeah, mine was too. It's so sad.
Let me ask you a question. I'm not commenting on death. We're not, that can be a very touching and difficult and challenging concept. And this isn't a class where we're like, let's get to know. And I mean, this is a class that points us in the direction that can be useful with emotions. But that's not where I'm going. That's not what my interest in doing is. But let me ask. Leaves they're born. There's a seed. There was a seed. This was a seed. This was, this wasn't even, that there was a seed. There was a seed. And somehow that seed came from. And somehow that seed got planted. Either the wind blew it or somebody deliberately placed it there with a plan. And then it somehow was in the right place at the right time with the right nurturing for it to begin to grow. And at some point, it began to have leaves. And at some point, those leaves began to become small and big as they were programmed through the DNA of the seed, and then they at one point fell off, and the seasons came and the season went. This is probably from a tree that's at least several seasons old, if not many more than that. And then at some point, this particular leaf popped in, budded out of a little stem, and the nurturing and the conditions continue to be right for it to have its expression. And then at some point, as it must, it fell to the ground, and you picked it up. You noticed it. Its meaning, its purpose, in some way, has taken on a form that could never even been expected. And so, as I bring it around, I'm just interested in us looking at it because can we see the beauty in this? Can we see the beauty in this? Do you see the beauty in this?
Yes.
You don't have to say yes.
No, I do. I do see the beauty. Nice.
It's really,
It's actually a pretty color. It's like rustic.
it's rustic. And so maybe everything has this quality in some way if we see it clearly. We will have thoughts that come up. And they are meaningful thoughts unto themselves. And if we notice those thoughts, they can be useful and they can also steer us back to the heart of what it is that we've got. This is a beautiful leaf. I'm glad that you picked it up. I'm glad that I remembered it. Huh?
It hasn't chipped.
Hasn't chipped. But those chips, it's funny, everything you say I've got a comeback for. It's gotta be so painful. Imagine my children. At least I'm mildly aware it happens. But I have a glass. I have a nice cup in my office that I got many, many years ago from a girlfriend when we were dating and Thanksgiving.
I was just thinking that.
Pam and I went to her wedding. I talk to Terry quite often. And I would talk.
A mindfulness king.
What?
Oh, I said a mindfulness king.
Yeah, and I would talk with Renee, who, when I was in undergrad, she was in grad school in psychology, but a couple years later, she was in a car accident and was killed by a drunk driver. So there's great sadness when my attention turns toward Renee. And we were friends also after we broke up or whatever. She went to do her internship. I stayed in Gainesville. We just grew separate ways. But boy, am I grateful for that relationship. Boy, am I grateful for her having come into my life, for what I know she offered many. And boy, am I sad, even now. It was, 86, 96, 06, 16. um, 39 years ago. Still, right? And I'm glad for that because she matters. She mattered then, she matters now. And even when those sorts of memories come to mind, I haven't, come to mind, and my heart begins to, we could say, quiver, right? The quivering heart. It sort of opens me up a little bit for maybe a little bit more generosity of heart in the moments that follow. So I was gonna say gratitude. My daughter Rose would always say gratitude. When we'd leave a tip, she goes, "How much should I leave as a gratitude?" Gratuity. But we did read about gratitude. What were some of your takeaways? I did not get to them until later yesterday, and this morning I got to all of them that I received. I wrote back to some of you. Because I'm teaching a short course this week, so it's a little hard for me to get to them, but I very much got to them and wanted to, and found a couple of things very powerful and instructive and insightful. So I'd like us to take a little time and talk about what the discussion of gratitude, and in particular what you wrote about. So just so you don't have to go stretching to the book and things in the book, what were some things that you wrote about? And I'll read some of these. I won't say your name, but you're always welcome to chime in and go, that was me. And a couple of you I wrote and said, may I mention your name or may I read it? And I appreciate that. I always assume, by the way, if you write something, I can bring it into the classroom. I've said this before, but I won't say your name unless I've asked you. If there's something that you write and you're like, I don't want it even brought into the classroom, this hasn't happened, but years past there happened, just let me know. So don't bring this one in the classroom. All right. And if something were especially poignant, I might have an intuition to be a little bit more, or we just wouldn't even do it in the first place. All right. So what were some of the gratitude experiences and takeaways for you?
I really liked on page 109 when Professor Lozada, the second paragraph, it's the full first paragraph.
Yeah, let's turn there. What, page 109?
109.
Okay, give me a moment. And she's a wonderful friend and colleague, a wonderful mindfulness teacher. She's over at FIU Law School, where they have a wonderful mindfulness set of classes that she spearheads. Go ahead.
I liked how she said that that the general tendency of people is to focus on the negative, known as negative bias, coupled with our legal training, which readily identifies things that could possibly go wrong, contributes to a pervasive sense of greater pessimism. To meet this challenge, Lozada creatively suggests that we issue spot for the good in our lives and be straightforward with the way we do it. She gives general instruction in the next paragraph, like to get granular and think of like specific aspects of things that are going well. And then later she said, or I guess you say, you've likely heard about how helpful gratitude could be when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed. Shift out of our agitated states such as fear, anger, and disappointment. And her practice can make it go a long way. Gratitude can also cultivate amid brief moments of the day of mindfulness practice. Turning your attention to something that you're grateful for makes room for what is most important in your life and may fend off or replace a reactive state that has momentarily taken hold. Hence, popular phrase, interrupt stress with gratitude. And then it kind of talks about a but-for pause, kind of like the PMP. And I thought it was really helpful. I do think lawyers are really pessimistic. And it's like a good quality to have when you're defending somebody or you're looking out for your client's best interest. But it's also like, I think it could harbor a lot on their personal lives and on lawyers' like stress intakes and stuff like that. So I think having like this small practice and being grateful for things, it's one, nice because it really shifts your perspective. It's a mindfulness practice, so you're paying attention and you're like focusing your attention on something that's better than versus all that could be bad. And then I also think it's really nice for connection piece to like text somebody. Like I always love getting a text, like a random one, like, and I love sending like small texts, like when I'm doing law review and like one person gets it right, like I'll send them a text, like really appreciate that. And they always like react like so grand. So I think it could go a long way.
Yeah, very nice. You mentioned it as a mindfulness practice, which I think is very important. Can it also be a settling technique?
Yeah.
right? I mean, the way you even spoke to it, it had a settling technique quality, yes?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And you know, settling techniques and mindfulness practices, we're teasing them apart so that we can talk about them separately, analyze them, dive into them, just like we tease apart thoughts, feelings, and sensations. But they're much more bundled up than, you know, that easy teasing apart. And the mindfulness practice and the settling technique are much more integrated. Daniel Zhang talked about practices that integrated them. And I think the way you described it, Carolina, thank you, was integrating them. So did you have a personal, was there anything that you wrote about that would have been, you mentioned it, you talked about saying thank you to people and how much they appreciate it. Thank you. Who else? Yes.
I think kind of going off of that, but connecting it to the rest of like the chapter on connection, but like gratitude itself, when you become aware of that and you realize what you're grateful for, the people in your life, it kind of gives you a better sense of connection to yourself and others, which I think can be very beneficial. Like we always say like, oh, we're so grateful for something, but like until you realize that you actually are, like being aware of that, I think that is so important, and kind of just taking a second to realize that you can really connect more and figure out what you really are grateful for and where it's brought you.
Very nice. One of you talked about the fact that, like, I think you said in a holiday card or something, a Mother's Day card or a Christmas card or something, you might say, thank you for all you do. And that's a nice thing. It's a nice thing. That's sort of like a short, you know, version of what you can get into a quick text. But then he commented, if you know who you are and it's pertinent, could you share but you took a second take at it. You saw it a little differently in light of, yeah.
Yeah, I always write like my parents a really long Christmas or birthday card and just kind of thank them for everything they've done for me. But I would like to actually set aside a different time to write something similar and like do a gratitude visit.
Okay, so you're talking about the gratitude visit. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So,
That was it.
yeah, good. We'll get to the gratitude visit in a moment. This person in particular, though, said that they usually write, thanks for all you do, period. And this assignment prompted them to revisit that.
It wasn't me, but I kind of had the same thought when I was doing it. Like, I thanked my sister for like watering my plants while I was away over break, which was like a small thing, but she had to go out of her way to do it. And like while I was doing the drawing, like I was like, oh, I'm grateful for my family, you know, like that connection with my sister. And then I was kind of thinking about it as like, that's like a very big thing. Like, of course, I'm grateful for my family and my sister. So when I was doing the exercise, I was like, what's like one small concrete thing that, you know, she's done for me lately that like just I can be grateful for just that thing. Like, obviously I'm grateful for everything, but I would have felt more pointed if it was just one single act.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice. And you know, we can say, of course, I'm grateful for everything. And I'm going to suggest that the way I heard it, it's like a belief. It's like, I'm grateful for everything, which is separate from something that is sort of a deeper reckoning with that something, right? So yes, how wonderful to be grateful. Not everybody, I mean, people might see a big picture view of even the things that were most challenging I'm grateful for because I learned and I grew. But that can be very tough. That can be tough and not necessarily even, you know, arguably needs to be the case, you know, or needs to be taken on to somehow, you know, be a happier person. I mean, let's keep it real and keep it real for ourselves. So it's a gift to be able to say, I am grateful for this, but we can't take it for granted, we could say, or just have it as a belief. And this is asking us to go a little, so what was say again maybe what you just said, but how did you bring it to life a little bit more?
Oh, well, yeah, because, you know, being grateful for my sister, like my family, it didn't seem very like concrete. You know, I know that's how I felt, and that's like what I believe. But I thought for the practice, if I could just think of one small specific thing that's happened recently.
And that it's more granular, the way Carolina spoke to what Professor Lozada said. And, you know, we have this negativity bias. It's a human condition. It sort of, in the law, it has its advantages. The impact it might have on us is not advantageous, I would say. To be able to be discerning and look for that which may not be going well or mistakes that were made, that's hugely important. to have it hit us, that's sort of, an add-on that we can do something about. There's also a positivity bias. And some of you who have maybe been working in this regard or just have role models that do this, you're maybe more likely to see something like the positive emerges, right? And we're all different in this regard. But we have both. We've got the ability to sort of look at something and see the beauty and the marvel over aspects of it and be appreciative of certain things. And we can also have it where we are also discerning in a more critical way that can be quite useful. And if we can have these, it's hard not to be thinking about something that's going wrong and not having it have a bit of an effect. It's hard, like saying, if I think about something in the future, I'll still feel a little anxious, but I'm aware of it, but I still feel it. It's like where your attention goes, a lot of your brain networks and physiology follows. And but it tends to lean in that pessimistic direction. So let's do something to bolster the other, so at least the two are meeting one another. And in the first instance, just to be aware that the negativity bias is kicking in, and to be able to sort of note that, check in on it, and maybe offer something up. So when we do find ourselves in like the grips of, oh, nothing is going right. Oh, interesting. Okay, interesting. I certainly am not a happy camper now, and I am feeling like I have a belief that nothing's going right. So what is going somewhat right? And then that opens up possibilities. And if your attention goes there, other aspects will follow. Not the least of which, and I think you spoke about this in terms of the way you framed it and what you read, if your attention is on the negative, so to speak, and you start to focus on something else, in addition to the benefits that flow from the thing you're focusing on, you're also no longer, because your attention can't be on both at the same time. You're going to turn here, even though letting go is a tricky phrase, it's let go of just by virtue of having intentionally shifted your attention somewhere else. It just falls away. Of course, attention will go back to it perhaps. Okay. Who else? Alexa, I think, was it, go ahead. Yes, you had your hand raised.
I didn't, but I have something that I liked in the book. On page 108, the quote by Gretchen Rubin.
Mm-hmm.
It says, I don't have to chase extraordinary moments to find happiness. It's right in front of me if I'm paying attention and practicing gratitude.
Paying attention. And so if we practice paying attention, we're more likely to notice things without having to try so hard, and or to be able to make that pivot a little easier. Who else? Yes.
On page 107, I especially liked we too are responsible for playing a role in creating these benefits and advantages.
I'm sorry, where are you reading?
107, the second paragraph from the bottom.
Okay, thank you.
Two are responsible for playing a role in creating these benefits and advantages and making them available to others. The great beauty and simplicity of things is that we are all in this together. We tend to forget, and this forgetting can lead to feelings of alienation and loneliness on one hand, or hubris and narcissism on the other. I'm going to skip forward a little bit to the last paragraph. When we experience moments of connection, gratitude arises all on its own, and when we feel grateful, we cannot help but remember and act on our shared humanity. If you read this like a while ago, I'd be like, what does this even mean? I think gratitude, like where it talks about our shared humanity, I think sometimes it's really, we like to be victims in our own world or like alienate ourselves, and I think gratitude helps ground us in these feelings. Like I used to be in this gratitude chat, and every day we'd have to put like 5 things we're grateful for, and at first it was like things like, oh, I'm grateful for a roof over my head, but the chat got deeper. Like if someone was like sulking, it'll be like, okay, these are the 3 negative things you said, give us 3 things you're grateful for, and those things kept on getting deeper, and we had like, I felt like community through it. So I guess the link between gratitude and community is not something I would have thought of before. But
I love that. And you're speaking to it from your own direct experience, right? So we can read and conceptually maybe be pointed in certain directions, But so thank you for that. I'm glad. I think that's really important. I think a lot of the world's stuff can sort itself out if we could have more moments like that. Who else? Yeah, TJ.
It's on page 109 in the middle paragraph, where it just said keep it simple and specific, like we were talking about.
109, middle paragraph. Good. Go on.
How gratitude doesn't necessarily always have to be like the biggest, grandest gestures or thinking of the most important things. It can be very small and specific. Like the example say, a friend texted you a kind or encouraging message, or your dog is curled up next to you. I think you could be grateful for that moment. So I think like every day we have so many opportunities where just small little things can add up and create gratitude.
Yes, right. What if every day? I mean, you're all nice. You all show appreciation. That would be gratitude as a core concern that we talked about and we'll read about and we'll talk about. But it's easy to get lost in the shuffle. What if we create a little space? So whatever you're already doing, keep doing it. It's not like, no, I'm already doing that. Okay, great, but it's serving you, and we maybe could do a little bit more, or we could go deeper with it in certain ways. And the book we'll get in a moment. I'm looking at the way you all talked about the, or many of you talked about the gratitude letter, is very interesting because the general consensus was that sounds like a really good idea. I don't know. And I think it's fascinating. And by the way, tread comfortably in anything you do. You don't have to do a gratitude letter, or visit. But it's interesting when we begin to feel the vulnerability, a term that many of you used, and it has us move away from something. One of you said it. See if I can find it quickly, and then I'm interested in more. That's a nice one. I'll read in a moment. Would it be worthwhile to do the gratitude visit practice? Absolutely. It would make my mom the happiest person in the world. But for some reason, I feel nervous about doing it. And I can't quite put my finger on why. I feel that way a lot when I think about reaching out to someone for whom I'm very grateful, putting it into words, and then, mailing it to them is very powerful. That's a little bit one-off, but very powerful, very beautiful. To get that letter, to read it, some of you commented on your own experiences. You talked about how when you were in high school or college, or somewhere you got these letters, and you still look at them, where people shared with other people how grateful they were for something. And we'll talk about that aspect of gratitude, to receive, to be on the receiving end of it. So it's interesting where something that would make somebody who matters to us so much the happiest person in the world, still there's some, and I'm just using my words here, not this person's, this is a wonderful assignment, there's still some little, some wall of something. There's something that just sort of, notwithstanding all the love and affection, there's still something about being emotional, something about being maybe more emotional than we'd want to be, maybe something about the other person being emotional, something uncomfortable. And what might we do if we wanted to, only if we wanted to have that membrane be not so impermeable, right? A much more permeable way, because that gets into connection and gratitude in our shared experience. Many of you said it in this way. One of you said, I want to try the gratitude visit practice from the chapter, but I'm not ready yet. It feels emotional, but I know I owe it to her to tell her that I'm grateful to her and why. Even imagining doing it made me emotional. Can any of you who sort of went through that little exercise relate to even imagining the doing of it sort of awakens sort of an emotional, and then the question is, what do we do with that? if it's our intention to do it, if that really is our intention, if we make a decision, I want to do this, this would be helpful, and then that emotionality pulls us away, maybe it's useful data to consider the usefulness of doing it. Maybe it's not. I'm not here saying it's always and should be and is necessary. But sometimes the emotion has us back away from something when actually leaning into it, to use that phrase, could be quite useful. And in some ways, the emotion can be like it's this interesting question, which way do I go? And you make that informed decision. Everybody that I know, and I don't know tons of people who have done the gratitude visit practice, it was very emotional. There was a lot of crying. It just happens. It's very beautiful. It's very heart-opening. It's very tender. It's very real. It's vulnerable. And in the face of crying, even with people who we know so well, sometimes I'll sit with Pam and we were just watching this great video. I don't know if any of you saw it. It was Bohemian Rhapsody. It was this flash mob opera. Have you seen it?
Oh, it's sick.
In France.
Yes, it was so good.
So good. And as I'm watching that, I'm like getting emotional.
I wish I saw it in person.
That would have been great. But even at a distance, I was getting emotional at various times. And Pam, my wife of 32 years, is sitting next to me. But for some reason, when I would get choked up, I would just sort of like breathe through it, and I wouldn't I could have just cried and had this like cathartic release, and all this good stuff would have happened. But my wife of 32 years, who we've been through everything you can imagine together, I'm sort of like, because I don't know, shame. I don't know. I mean, it's just so interesting. It's so deep. It holds us back, or it holds me back. And then afterwards, she was like, because that's between Pam and me. I'm sort of the one that's more likely to, cry at a movie or something. But she was like, oh my God, I got so choked up during that, right? But I bet both of us were just a little bit holding back. And if we had just been like, oh, it probably would have brought us closer together. A shared experience of something very tender and whatever. I'm not saying what we should or shouldn't be doing and what our relationship should or shouldn't look like. I'm speaking only to my experience. But it is something how the emotions are data. They're information. And we can use them to navigate in ways that might be a little bit more in alignment with our values and our intentions, even though instinctually we might sometimes either back away from something, or sometimes we feel compassion and we're like, what can I do to help you? The other person's like, I don't need any help. And the emotion led us to jump towards something that we might have been misreading, and maybe we could have approached that differently. So it's not like it's always just take the emotional valence and just move towards it. It's more of a wise and compassionate gesture that comes from being more aware of not only the emotion, but more fully aware of what's taking place around us, and then to draw upon communication and other things that we've learned. Yes, Kevin?
You had this isn't manly impulse.
This is your not wanting to turn around in a circle.
You gotta do the spin.
Yeah, I agree. Isn't it funny how even when I just sort of pretended to cry, I did this, right? We shield it. It's very primal. It's very primal and probably very rational in terms of how we were wired in this way, all of us.
Just going back to the initial paper that you read and being scared to do it with like a parent when that's the person you feel gratitude for. At least personally, I just feel like my parents have always portrayed this strong sense of themselves that it's harder to not reciprocate, but to even like initiate something when you don't get to see that side of that person. So maybe a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Going off of what Devin was saying, I remember our 1L orientation when the ABA came and talked to us about how lawyers have, like, out of any profession, like the highest rate of drug and alcohol abuse and the highest rate of suicide. And I think it's so important to show gratitude, like, for your peers and also coworkers. And I wrote about this a little bit in my paper, but it can be so powerful to just tell, like, a coworker in the office, like, I see you, I'm grateful for you, like, thank you for helping me with this assignment, or thank you for, having a smile on your face today, like, it really helped me. And after writing that paper, I decided I'm going to stop by the office after class today, and I'm going to bring, like, one of the partners who I'm really grateful for. I'm just going to, like, write her a card and, like, give it to her because I know that she's been going through a lot lately, and she just had a baby and just came back from maternity leave like yesterday. So I think just like purposefully setting up time to show others gratitude in the profession can make your profession a lot more like fruitful, and it can make you and the other person like a lot more grateful.
Yeah. You know, last week we did the spiral, and that was the spiral of reactivity, formed by thoughts, feelings, and sensations based on an event that we're resisting, right? And the more we're resisting, the bigger the spiral. And in your papers, you'll be writing about a couple of events that are big spiral events, right? That's why you're choosing them, to help point it out. But here we have it where wrote the letter and read it or sent it or communicated to the person what gratitude, event, thoughts, they're more affirming thoughts. Feelings, they're more affirming feelings. Sensations, they're more, settled and at ease sensations, or excitement in a way that, or even if it's a little bit of a, anticipation. Reactions, well, likely what's going to happen is the way it plays out for them then allows them to have that type of a series of experiences. So there's so much there. And it's also a reminder that there's the reactive spirals, but there's also the very responsive spirals. We might not use the word spiral, I'm not spiraling, but it's still the flow of thoughts, feelings, and sensations in response to an experience. Milagros.
I just wanted to, something that I really liked on page 107, the first sentence right under gratitude, says, we're connected to each other in ways that are easy to overlook and forget. In truth, we could spend the rest of our lives thanking others for the opportunities, gifts, and blessings they have provided to us this lifetime. That made me think, and kind of following up on what Ellie was saying, yesterday in a separate class we had a guest speaker come in, and he was talking about transactional practice and just like his law practice in general, and he said nobody gets anywhere in life without the help of others, and it reminded me of the whole chapter on connection and gratitude, and it made me think how we tend to praise self-sufficiency and independence, being independent, and those are good traits to have for obvious reasons, but also I think we shouldn't, I don't want to say antagonize, but think of being dependent on others as such a bad thing, because we all have to, and it's a great thing actually.
There's so much there, and you're right. And if we practice, things open up. The importance of practicing gratitude, in addition to how it might be a benefit to others, is that it opens our heart. Like it opens something that's already here to be open. It's not making it bigger than it needs to be or useful. It's actually taking something that's a little clamped down on and frees it. So the practice of gratitude is meant to cultivate a quality that's already fundamental to us, that in the practice of law, given the nature of the hostile environment and the way things are modeled, even with very good intentions by very skilled practitioners, we can do ourselves some good, so that the litany of consequential mental health and satisfaction and relationship, experiences of lawyers in this profession might not be as, or at least we can do what we can for ourselves, and maybe for those in our immediate environment, at the very least. And the connection practice that we'll do is similar. We're going to wish happiness for somebody, safety for somebody else, somebody who's a wonderfully kind person, somebody who's a little neutral, somebody who's maybe a little difficult. And we're not doing it because we think, because I'm wishing it, they're going to, like, wherever they are in the world, be happy, or even still alive. We're doing it because it's something for us that then ripples into the world around us. Yes.
So going off what Ellie said and kind of what you said as well, I actually have cards that have my initials on it, and I always handwrite people notes, and I did it for some of my coworkers, and I feel like after I wrote them, like,
I was just like thankful for something they helped me with, whatever. And I work mostly with men, and I was like worried about it being too feminine, but I was like, whatever, I don't care, I'm gonna do it. And I feel like our work relationship has bettered because of it, because they have opened up more. And I could tell how grateful they were. They pinned it up on their like office. And so I feel like it's something so small, but it does have a really big effect on those that you do it to.
Especially when it comes from a genuine place.
Yeah.
Even if you manufacture a strategic technique to try to take advantage and manipulate somebody, you may be suffering ultimately because that's your motivation, but they're still going to probably maybe get a little something out of it. So whatever our motivation is, although I don't think anyone's ever really said, but you could. You could. Sometimes people have it where somebody's upset and like, oh, I'm going to send them a thank you card for something. Like you do it to repair something. So it is a little manipulative or a little strategic. Coming from a place of what? Fear. But at least it becomes a thoughtful response in response to that. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to, relatively in short order, we're going to look at our drawings and just briefly just say what it is that we drew, but we're going to move through that efficiently, and then we will take a break. During that break, I've got 2 different types of cookies I got yesterday, the salted caramel, and let me tell you, the oatmeal raisin, and then Pam this morning, because I was reading your assignments, I was like, Pam, would you cut up the apple? So you'll notice that she cut it up a little differently than I did. And we've got the apple as well. So we'll have those out for those who would want it. One last thing, you spoke about the gratitude, that something you have been doing. Could you share with us a little bit of that? Because it's very practical, like you said.
Yeah, so before even reading this chapter, I journal daily in my gratitude journal. I purchased it in March when I was like going through like a really hard time. I just went to Target just to buy a journal, and I saw this one and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And it honestly just, and I do it daily, I love it. And it just kind of reminded me that like even like, you know, we all go through hardships, and like even when life gets hard, like there's still just so much to be grateful for, even if it's just like a small little thing. Like I often just write about my dog, or even like my morning cup of coffee. And I brought the journal if anyone wants to like look at it to see if they have any interest in getting it. I love it.
Could you show us what it looks like at least?
Sure.
You went to Target?
Yes. It's not that big. And then
you'll actually write.
So there's like a morning side and like a night side, and it honestly only takes up maybe like 2 minutes of your day. Doesn't really ask for much. So you write like a daily affirmation, like whatever you're feeling that day, 3 things you're grateful for, 3 of your priorities for the day, and then like something you look forward to in that day. It also asks how much sleep you have, hydration, like it just all builds upon itself. So when you can like look back on it and see, you know, what helps, what doesn't. And then on the nighttime section, it even asks like, you know, what did you do for like a workout today? But then it asks what I made today better. What did you learn about yourself today? What did you learn about others? And something you're gonna look forward to tomorrow. And then like a sleep meditation, which I just write another affirmation. But yeah, I love it.
Very nice. And there's 100 variations on that theme. From just at night writing down 3 things that you're grateful for, to having a more methodical. And did you sort of see a little bit of Daniel Zhang woven into that? The priorities, right? And you could notice your mind wandering off, and you could decide maybe it brings you to a place because you're exploring something you're grateful for, and you sort of stay there and reflect on that, deepen that. Or you just notice that you're thinking about something sort of more randomly and you just bring yourself back to it. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, you know what, Sven, what we'll do is this. Should we take a look at our drawings before we go for our break or after we come back? That's 2 of 20 something. I just need others to chime in.
Me as well. 3.
3?
After.
Yeah, okay. So before we go though, turn over your card and write down how many dimes you think there are here.
All dimes.
They're all dimes. You got to stay where
Do you know
are.
the answer?
I have a card.
Yes, of course.
I have another.
You thought I was gonna say, write down something you're grateful for. Yeah.
Literally.
So just write that, literally.
On the
So
back?
Write down, it's a number, just write down the number. Don't look at your neighbor. This is your number.
Are there only dimes in there, or are there other
I just make a
coins?
decision.
There's no
Says
tricks,
two.
it's only dimes.
Okay.
Can we look at it closer or no?
It's just an exercise.
Is there a prize?
What do we win?
All the time.
Ooh, that's not a bad price.
I don't even have a number in my brain.
Just write, it's,
My mind is
I
blank.
wrote it.
I know, so you can wait till you come back. Or just write a number down. You're not gonna
You
get
just gotta make a decision and go with
write
it.
like 4.
Just write down a number.
Oh,
It's okay.
Oh, I hate being wrong. Oh,
Thank
maybe
you
they
for-
know each other.
Thank
We
you for
can
being
check.
prompt. So Pam got this the other day. She went to this like festival and one of the people she was buying something with made this. Would anybody like this to eat? Not necessarily now, it could be later. It looks like it's it's like candy,
She doesn't want it?
cashews. Huh?
She doesn't want it?
She wants to share it.
That's so sweet of her.
I'll share it.
The more you give, the more you receive. At least in theory, or at least that's a good way to get people to give. Who said yes?
I will.
You?
I'll try it. I mean, I don't want to take the whole thing.
No, who wants the whole thing?
You guys,
I want the whole thing to share it with everyone.
Share it with everyone.
Why don't you get the plane?
She
You can
needs
pour
the,
it.
she should get
Why
it.
can't you
juice. She
share
needs the
it?
rhymes.
Like break it up before you open it.
You all have learnned well. This was
Is
the.
that a test?
This is
For
the-
sure.
Well, that's a
Did
good
it.
You don't have to do the final finger.
We're gonna pass it
You got
around.
the
You're invited.
Tally award.
I made it.
So, just a reminder to some of you that might prove useful, that you might have forgotten about. But first of all, Pam, you did good. Because that's recording.
Wait, can I try?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
These classes are recorded?
Yeah, they're like candy. Pass it around. They're good.
Yeah.
Always
Just
accept
take
to
them.
No one's allergic, right?
Yeah, wait, is anyone allergic
She
to
watching?
delicious nuts?
To what?
Is anyone
Oh,
allergic to nuts?
perfect.
So the reason I say that,
Around?
Yeah.
and by the way, well, Sherlock Holmes next week will appear in,
Are you?
Yeah, but no.
Oh, then we
like,
won't
I'm
take it
fine.
over
Like
there.
if people eat it around me, I'm totally good though.
We won't take it out there.
No, eat it.
We're talking about her now.
Eat
Eat
it.
it and like
Eat
it.
it and like it.
eat it and like it.
Not my favorite.
What type of nuts?
I think this would be
I
a
think
good
they're
ti- I think this would be a good time
Yeah.
for Mr. Mindfulness
do you want?
to spritz the room. Who is Mr. Mindfulness?
Alex.
Everyone, let's turn our attention. Everyone, let's turn our attention. This is a class on paying attention. So let's turn our attention to Mr. Mindfulness. Now, do one gesture to explain why I call you Mr. Mindfulness.
Mister. You got it.
You gotta do it.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I didn't get that.
Spritzing?
Spritzing is one word, there's another word.
Mystic. Ah, okay.
So if you would,
Yeah, that was.
let us, this is a mindfulness practice.
I know.
Go around and just give everyone a little, as you say, spritz, given that you are,
Oh, sorry. Oh, did it not go all the way around?
William really wanted it.
Oh, yeah.
so let's,
bet on it
let's,
this time.
No, that was perfect, thank you. I had a great time.
Give me a distant. Thank you.
Just one.
Oh, yeah.
don't stop smelling it or being aware of the aroma just after it passes you, because it's still there.
Or we pass it. I guess so.
This would be nice for us.
We're good.
Really nice.
So sad. Do you like more?
you miss it yourself.
Nice.
Well, you're gonna have to scroll over there.
These are all
By
yours.
rotation.
It's your time. You get the rest.
That's what you get for waiting. You get the whole plan.
Don't let them get on your
Nice.
shoes.
You change the time.
Yeah.
Is it eucalyptus and something else?
Yeah, no, I
Is it a
mine
book?
was like
I like the detail.
I love that.
You're using it at 10
And it's always been.
Yeah.
Now you're
I-
paying attention even more. You're observing.
Look in that direction.
After 9 weeks of
Oh.
class, but first it's just like, oh.
it's all yours.
Think
Get
the
the
protein.
Granular, deep understanding. And you're right, featuring eucalyptus, sweet orange, citrus.
There you go, that's me too.
No, lavender, which I guess is a
Same here.
lavender.
I'm used to it like within
So,
Yeah, I know.
That's what you do.
That's what used to it. It's nice. No, it's not like a tea. There is, yeah, well,
Or do you
no,
not
it's
count?
it's an herb
It has to be black coffee.
from which they make an oil.
Yeah, that's what it's
Okay.
True.
Next week I'll
Black
bring
coffee.
you.
I have a latte on my.
All right.
You broke it.
It's
Let us get to it because we've got an hour and 5 minutes and we've got a variety of things to do. I know you're gonna wanna talk a little bit about the paper, so I'm gonna save that. Let us open up our field guides. Turn to the page where you drew what you drew. If you don't have it and you didn't, then that's okay. We do the best we can. But here's the thing also. With regards to what Lily asked, this is on the syllabus. I think it might even be in our first field guide. You know, you all can miss one class, like your free pass. But you can't really miss two without it having some hit of some sort. But of course, life is going to do what it does in terms of responsibilities or competing interests where you just have to make a tough decision. And so you can always reach out to me and request the video from that class, and you will receive the video from that class. This has been a semester-long invitation, so if you missed a class, because you might care more about, from a practical standpoint, the not wanting it to hurt your grade, but I care, and maybe you do too, I suspect you do, more about actually learn, what do you all talk about? Like, what did I miss? And so you can always send the so if you miss a class, and you're just like, I only missed one class, but I want to know what I missed, you can request the video and you'll receive the video, not to be shared. And if you missed a class and it was like a second class or so, you can request the video and I can provide more specific instructions, but then you write a 1 to 2 pager that offers a summary of what we discussed, and you include what you would have contributed to at various junctures. So as you're watching it and I ask a question or somebody says something and you're like, oh, if I had been there, I would have said this or I would have offered this, you include that. So it's like, as best we can, perhaps, a simulation of your actually being here, which of course is what's intended. And then you submit that, and then that will be, if it resonates, if what you wrote makes sense, which I'm sure it would for everybody, then that will be a way of taking care of that.
Preemptively, I believe the MPRE, a good amount of us will be taking it that Friday, so we're gonna have to miss. 'Cause it's a draw.
Really? The MPRE is one of our class days?
The 14th of November?
Yes.
Something like that?
The last class?
No, wait, it was second to last. That's the art day.
Is everyone taking it then?
No,
that
it's
the art
not.
day?
No, that's the week before.
I'm in full.
No, the
Thursday and
21st is
Friday.
the last day.
It's both
Yeah.
days.
That is the art day.
Well, I think some people are taking the Thursday, but I'm on Friday.
Wait, I thought the art day is the 7th.
Yeah, I thought it was the 7th also.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not the art day, it's the week after.
It's the last day of class.
Is it?
No, it's not the last day.
The last day is the 20th.
No, it would be the second to last day.
Oh, right.
But if it's the 7th, maybe the 14th is the last day.
14th is when you
14th.
planned the museum.
When's the last day?
The
I don't have a
21st.
calendar in front of me.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so preemptively, if that's your first miss, you can just not do anything if you don't want. If it's your first miss, you can say, I'm gonna miss. I can't give you the video until after the class. Because it is a linear process, the way these things emerge. At least that's the way we think they are. But I can get it to you after, and if you miss it and it happens to be a second one, obviously a very understandable reason to miss, then you have the opportunity to craft that. Okay. The key would be to get that in within, say, a week of receiving the video, not like after class is over and after you've done your paper and after then it sort of is this tangential advantage. Okay, so what did you draw?
I don't have my drawing with me. I do, but I don't. I don't have a physical copy, but I attached the picture on
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah,
It was
can
great.
I show
It was like you and your like
my family? Yeah.
Right, sitting around the table or something.
No,
Just standing.
just
there.
standing.
Yeah. I saw it. It was
Can I
good.
show like the picture on my phone or?
No.
Okay.
Only because it's a little small.
It's really small. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Mine's also not with me, but
Yeah, we're moving on.
okay, bye.
Moving on.
Okay, this
Okay.
is mine.
Who is it?
It's me and my sister.
I can't see it.
And we're in like a little field of flowers. Her name's Sophia.
Okay.
What's
And
the quote?
Mr. Rogers?
I can't see.
The quote is like my little sentence that I wrote.
And what did you write?
I wrote, grateful that I get to navigate life with you. Being an only child, I would not favor after growing up with a sister. So that's us in a little flower field.
Very nice. Do you remember your word?
Probably grateful. Actually, I just put mom.
Mom.
Support.
I wrote I'm grateful for my family.
This is me and my mom. I'm not an artist, but yeah.
Can we hold back on the obstacles? Note the obstacle. Take a breath. Because guess what? I'm looking at it. Now, of course, my opinion is no more valid than yours, and yours is more valid for you than mine is probably. But you are certainly an artist.
Pretty good, Alex.
So go ahead.
Yeah, and then I said I love drawing me with my mom because it reminded me that she's the most beautiful soul in the world, inside and out. So nice.
You know, when you were like 7, you'd give that, and it would go on the refrigerator.
I sent her a picture, and she was like, "Why are we in matching dresses and heels?" And I was like, "Because I wanted it to be."
Are you gonna put that in the fridge now?
All right. Very nice. Yes. Peter.
So me and my sister playing tennis.
Put it up so we can see it. Yes. Very nice. And what did you write right under it?
Just thankful for tennis and motivation to be a better tennis player.
Ah, very nice. Alex?
Mine's small, but
Yes.
it's me and my mom at dinner.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Does
Drinking,
that say?
sipping wine.
Yeah, we're having wine, pasta, and Caesar salad.
Very nice. Very nice. Wine, pasta, and Caesar salad. Okay.
Mine, me and my dad in Fort Lauderdale having a lot of wine.
A lot. Important.
And it says
Blood is thicker than all.
Ah, okay. Very nice. And wine is as well.
Yeah.
Mine is me and my boyfriend having a picnic. But I did it more of a general. I
Put it
said
up again.
having people in my life who support me because it's more general, like my family, my friends, everyone.
You felt guilty leaving them out, didn't you?
I
And that's
live
why
with
you
my
say-
boyfriend,
that's why
so
you're-
he's supporting me like on the
You
daily.
didn't answer my question.
know.
The question is, what is your drawing? And then you're adding to it, but there's everybody else. And I'm curious, where did
I
that
think
non-answer to the question
It's
emerge
great
from?
in life that I have so many people
It is.
that I'm so grateful for.
Yes. I
That it was
agree.
so
People need
difficult
to see your orange
to
hair.
just pick one.
It was difficult. But why was it difficult to pick one since the instruction was to pick one
Computer
and you've
hair.
got so many to choose from? Like if somebody said to me, and I understand, this is why I'm posing this. I mean, I can relate to that. If somebody were to say, pick a dime, I'd be like,
Oh, I forgot about the dimes.
right, done.
How many are there?
And how easy it was. If somebody said pick a dime, I'd be like, I don't know how to pick from. But I've got so many. How many? We'll find out. So you got so many.
Did he? Yeah.
So why do you think you said, but I have all these others?
She influenced me. She said there was less.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe because everyone else was showing like family, so I guess it was maybe a little guilt of like I didn't pick them. But I guess it's in the same time it's like I don't want this to come off rude. Like why do I owe to everyone in the room to tell them that I'm also grateful for my family?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't have answers. I'm interested in reflecting on things. And the thing that what prompted it was, what did you draw? But then you offered up more.
Yeah.
And if you pay attention when you're in conversations with people and they give you more than you asked for, it's usually telling of something that was going on in them that we can't mind read, but we can intuit. Or if it's a kind of conversation that would lend itself to it, we could ask. Right? So thank you. That was very helpful.
Here's me and my mom. I spent more time on my outfit than like on the eyes, so just don't look. But I wrote my selfless mom. She's the most selfless person I know, but she's also like really silly, and I think it's important. I saw like a quote. I think it was on social media, but it's like it's our parents' first time living too. So I keep that in mind.
Right, meaning they're just people.
Yeah.
I don't have mine, but it's my mom and dad.
I drew me and my older sister. We did we're into skate growing up. We played hockey. So I wrote family. In the exercise, I thanked her for watering my plants, which was a pretty granular thing. But when I was just drawing us on the pond, it was like, I thought that was a little too specific for this. So I just did family.
Yeah, okay, very nice.
Mine doesn't have color. I was gonna color it in later and then I forgot, but it's me and my mom on the couch. And I feel grateful that my mom still takes care of me and looks out for me, because I know that there's like a lot of people and a lot of families that have the mindset that once you turn 18, like you're an adult and that's it. And they kind of just like cut ties. But I'm 28 and my mom still cares about me. So I feel good about that.
I don't have none.
I drew my dad and I scuba diving. Like my shark and stuff on him. It's our favorite activity to do together. So I wrote grateful for every underwater adventure together.
Very nice. And the shark.
I just drew mine. It's me and my girlfriend Luna. This photo was taken at a party called Public Service in New York. So these are all dancers and this is music playing.
Her name is Luna?
Luna.
I didn't know I was supposed to be in it. Just my girlfriend. This is love.
Are you in her heart?
Sure. There we go. Heart and mind.
Mine's my mom and I, and we're shopping.
Let me put it up again. And what did you write? Did you write anything?
I'm grateful for your love, values, nurturing, and attention to detail.
Okay, now you have to do the panoramic here, but
This is my mom and I walking the dog. I said, walks and talks with mom.
Okay, nice. Very nice. So first, thank you all for putting those together, for sharing those. If you didn't bring it, please feel free to bring it next week. Perhaps we'll have time to do that. I would want to. What was it like for those of you who did it, whether you brought it or not, the doing of it? What was it like to engage in what is in many ways what kind of a mindfulness practice?
Focus.
Right? You're giving yourself an object, a task, and then if you notice your mind wandering, you bring your attention to it. Of course, for something like this, you might get so interested in it, you just sort of like, it's an easier object to pay attention to. You don't have as much mind wandering, but nonetheless, where your mind wasn't could be just as useful to where your mind is directed towards. So what, in a word or two, what was it like to do the exercise?
Well, I haven't drawn a picture of my mom and I since probably like 3rd grade. So it felt, I don't know, it was a new experience, but it brought back memories. And you mentioned putting it on the fridge. That's exactly what I thought too.
Okay, yeah, and I didn't think of it until I saw it, until Ellie took it out, and it hadn't crossed my mind. So you might want to think about, the gratitude visit, the gratitude letter. You might want to take what you drew, put it into an envelope, send it to the person, and say, I don't know, thanks, and then or whatever. And notice what it feels like to even think about doing that, right? And maybe do that. Or just, I would encourage you to not have it just be something that stays in that book that eventually at the end of the semester, as Daniel Zhang did, putting away because he keeps things and may turn back to it, or tossing it as is, likely to be a not uncommon thing that one would do at the end of a class and maybe at the end of a law school career. Keep mementos, reminders, keep clues. Speaking of clues, there is something very different. Yes.
Oh yeah, true facts.
You've been waiting.
Oh.
Really?
Wait, what happened?
Oh yeah?
That's crazy.
You like to know your sentence.
No, Ethan.
I wanted to answer that one.
Did you?
Nice. That was a participation.
Yes.
Why did you change your tie? Were you like sneaking
It was like a
off?
long red. I was paying attention to it before. I was like, it's
Small.
really long.
Okay,
Yeah,
watch this.
exactly.
It's really long.
I probably shouldn't do this. This is one of the advantages of mindfulness, but I don't like to talk about it in terms of having mystical qualities. I'm going to spin around, and when I come back around,
Are you gonna have a different?
I'm going to have the red tie back.
No.
What?
No way. You're not.
Ready?
Go, go, go.
Oh, but I'm embarrassed to turn around, so I'm not going to do it. But if I weren't embarrassed, oh, the joy and the wonder.
Do it.
I know, but okay. Very nice. Very nice, Ethan. Now, did you try to notice, or did the noticing just happen?
Just happened.
So we don't have to try so hard. In fact, sometimes, of course, when we're distracted and lost in thought, or caught up in an emotional state that we're not freeing ourselves from a little bit, though we could, we miss a lot. And of course, we're not going to catch everything. And there's no need. Your grade might be influenced by this, right? Because I'm going to remember that. What a curious thing. If I'm like, you're like, he's on the line, what do I do? And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, and I'm like, he's on the line, what do I do? It's a tie between this and that. Tie. You never know. But sometimes the answer just comes to us, or something to note. And then I have to give you so much credit. Because what might somebody else, and it wouldn't have been wrong to do it, of course, but what might you, if you had noticed earlier my tie, maybe something you did, what are you likely to have done?
Blurt it out.
Just blurted it out.
Why'd you look at me?
What?
Felt like the eyes were on me with that one.
Milagros too.
What did you do?
Okay, fine.
I'm gonna change it.
So I did write down who will notice the tie. And I did write down who I thought would notice the tie.
Who was it?
Hayden.
But I didn't write down Ethan.
Ooh.
So
Definitely.
the beautiful thing is in life, you can sort of do certain things, put it away. If it was Ethan and I wrote Ethan, then you'd all be like, oh my God, that's amazing. Or I could have had Ethan here and I could have had Ethan here, and I could have and that's how magicians do a lot of their stuff. They actually have, the likely scenarios and then, but what they rarely do, I would imagine, is say, I got it wrong. But I feel comfortable with you all. And even if I didn't, it would be nice to sort of just be forthright. But because Peyton, I'm guessing maybe I did spend a split second longer. I wasn't looking at you. but the human animal is a very, so I did write down.
I know you did. Can I have a defense? So I know, but here's the thing, I am pretty observant.
The evidence.
But let's say, a girl gets their hair cut. A girl's gonna notice that versus ties, not as quick for girls to think about.
True.
Yes.
Guys don't notice girls.
But you know what
girls
happened
don't
yesterday
notice
at
guys.
9 o'clock in the morning?
Got a haircut.
I got a haircut.
I noticed that.
You didn't get a lot taken off this time.
No, I didn't, because Pam said, don't get a lot taken off this time, I like it the way it is. Yeah, okay. But again, you're very good, because if I had taken a lot off, you
I
would have
would have
noticed. Okay. All right, so a couple things with our 35, 45 minutes. Let's do our connection practice, a very, very important practice. It may be one that resonates with you that you like, it may be one that you're like, whatever, you're going to give it a try this week along with the practice that you're going to. By now you should. By now, my strong suggestion is you're going to be writing in your paper about a practice. You might come up with a creative variation on a focus attention practice, as we've discussed with music as a possibility. But you're going to have a focus attention, body scan, or open monitoring, possibly connection, but probably the first three practice that you'll be writing about. So that when your reader finishes the paper, they've got one practice that they can actually begin doing. And you've given them enough information on how to practice it that they can, but they can also read up on more. You might give them some links to some videos or apps or something, but you give them enough. And you've also explained to them, as many of us have talked about in our meetings, you've explained to them why this practice, in fact, can be useful in a very practical context. This is a practice that in some way stands alone, but it's really part of the repertoire of mindfulness practices. I think this is a very, very important practice, and I have found it to be very useful in the practice of law, especially when it comes to our interpersonal, and especially the difficult or the challenging. And so, as many as you should have all read, we're going to bring to mind a sense of ourselves, and we're going to wish kind wishes for ourselves. We're going to then bring to mind somebody who's a very special person in our life, whether they're alive or not, and whether they're a human being or an animal, somebody that really just has always been very kind to us, supportive, and we're going to wish the same for them. Then we're going to bring a neutral person, like somebody that you just ran into during the break that you don't even know, or maybe somebody that you know that you see on a regular basis, just like doing the lawn or something that you don't really pay attention to, through the leaf blower out there or something. Then we're going to bring the difficult person. You're going to bring to mind somebody with whom things are a little challenging. And I go through this right now as a reminder of what you read, and it's in what you read as well. We're not picking the most difficult person in our life. That's not the intention of this practice. You can pick, of course, whoever you want. You could even skip over this if you wanted to. But it's somebody who, like on a scale from 1 to 10, it's like 5 or a 6. Like it's difficult. Like, you just had an argument, or maybe perennial, just consistently, it's never quite easy. You wish it could be a little smoother. So it's the difficult person, but we want to be kind to ourselves. And then we move on to all of us, right, in some form or another. And even when I say everyone, you can condition that if you want. You might say, well, why would I wish this to people over there? Or why would I wish this to that person? And you can carve out, you can curtail it as you would wish. All right, so let us bring ourselves into a posture that's upright and stable. Or any questions around that? So let us bring ourselves into a posture that's upright and stable, comfortable. As we lower or close our eyes, whichever you prefer, resting attention on the sensations of the body sitting as we breathe. Taking 3 slower, deeper breaths of your choosing. Allowing breathing to resume its natural pacing and rhythm, whatever that may be. As we bring to mind a sense of ourself at this time in our life. It could be a sense of yourself right here, right now, sitting in this classroom. Or it could be an image that you have of yourself, visual recollection. Or in whatever way you have a sense of yourself. And as you hold a sense of yourself in mind, in heart, wishing for yourself, may I be safe. Wishing for yourself, may I be happy. Wishing for yourself, may I be healthy. Wishing for yourself, and now you generate what right now, at this time in your life, would be a thoughtful, kind wish that you can offer yourself. May I and wishing for ourselves, may we live with ease of heart and peace of mind. As a sense of ourself recedes into the background of awareness. And if our mind should wander during this practice, or we should be thinking about something, we notice that that's happening and we bring our attention back to the instruction. If we should feel a pleasant aspect or even an unpleasant or aversive aspect, we notice that. And then we more fully direct our attention to the instruction. We don't have to push anything away, we're just redirecting. as we now bring to mind someone who's been very good to us in this life. A champion, a benefactor, just someone who's offered us love, maybe even just at the right time. And as we bring to mind this being, wishing for them in whatever way makes sense, may you be safe. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be at ease and know peace. As we breathe. And as a sense of this being recedes into the background, we bring to mind someone with whom we don't have much of a connection at all. Somebody that you passed on the street today that you might remember, or was in the parking lot, or somebody in your building that you just sort of see on a regular basis, or that just comes to mind. The neutral person, the relatively neutral person. And as you bring this person to mind, wish for them as best you can. May you be safe. They've got a life, they've got challenges, they've got joys, they've got sorrows. We don't know all that they've got and have experienced and will. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you live with ease of heart and peace of mind. And then as a sense of this person recedes into the background, we bring to mind the difficult person, the moderately difficult, challenging person. And holding them as best we can in mind and heart, we wish for them as best we can in whatever way feels comfortable enough. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease of heart and peace of mind. As we breathe, aware of the breath as it flows through the body. And then we bring to mind a larger circle of community. You can keep it to this room. In fact, let's pause with this room for a moment. Those of us in this room, our classmates here, and maybe the one who's not. May we be safe in this journey through life and law. May we be happy as this life unfolds, as we journey to graduation, to our professional lives, our relationships. May you be healthy. May we all be healthy. It's a wish, it's a heart-opening gesture of kindness. May we all live with ease of heart, peace of mind. And then to expand that as broadly as you want to our school, our community, your family, your communities of connection, all beings everywhere across the globe, as far and wide as you would like. And holding a sense of all beings, however far and wide, in our hearts and minds, including ourselves. We are a part of that group as well as offering this. May we all, this includes the critters and the dogs and the cats and the fish, all creatures, all sentient beings, everyone, everything that can suffer, that can feel pain, that can know ease. May we all be safe. May we all be happy. May we all be healthy. May we all live with ease of heart and peace of mind. Aware of the body sitting, of the breath flowing through the body. And when you're ready in the next moment or two, with an awareness of doing so, lifting the gaze, opening the eyes. Very important practice. It may resonate, it may not. It may resonate in time. It can be something that's done on a regular basis, as many do. It's potential for a lot of bolstering, firming qualities. It can be done from time to time when you find yourself in a difficult time with someone. I know I have done that in the practice of law when I felt great animosity and anger and tension with somebody opposing counsel in a certain respect or counsel in a certain respect. I found it to actually be helpful. It actually took 6 months for it to reveal itself. It took 6 months for me to one day, every day for 6 months I did this. I'd been doing it up until this point in time. But then I was doing it where usually the difficult person changes from time to time, the nice person changes. You can keep it the same, but once this event happened in a piece of litigation, they became the difficult person for 6 months. And it was a slow, I wasn't trying to get anywhere. I was just sort of working with it. And then one day, I was like free. And then I wrote to the person. And I would never have expected what I wrote. I would not have expected that to happen. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen or that that's the way to use it, but that's my experience. Though long before that, I was practicing on a regular basis and finding it immensely useful without necessarily a specific reason in mind. So first, what did you notice or what did you observe during that practice? And or what questions might you have about that practice? Because this week, the invitation is to practice it for 6, 12, or 18 minutes. This one lends itself to being a little longer and, easier to sort of stay with, while you alternate it with the other practice that is likely to be your paper practice. Although maybe this one falls into it as well. What did you notice? What did you observe?
With the moderately difficult person, I found myself kind of getting stuck on that.
Yes. And the beautiful thing is, if we're aware, what are we aware of? Getting stuck. Now, can you say a little bit more? Because anybody else with a difficult person find it a little challenging to muster up that? Very common. There's usually it's often an aversion. Maybe sometimes it's even mixed. I want to, but can you say a little bit more about that aversion or any question that you have about that in the practice?
Yeah, so I was thinking like, who would that person be? And then it came to mind. I was like, yeah. So I live down by like the hospital and the med school, so I take the shuttle sometimes to the metro. It's supposed to be like for the med students and the doctors. I get on, I show my ID. It's one shuttle bus driver though. She like hounds me about it. So yeah, I was thinking about her. I was like, because I only see her like maybe once a month, but whenever I do, it's like contention.
Right. And who does that? Putting her aside, who does that impact?
Not me, I get on the shuttle.
But there's contention. Is it a joyful experience or is it a slightly, this person?
It's like, it's annoying for me.
Right. Okay.
I just sit down.
Yeah. Well, you all are very capable of managing difficult situations or challenging people. If you weren't, good luck in the practice of law. So that's really wonderful that you identified that person that falls into the category, and it's really thoughtful the way you notice the stuck or the and this is what we're interested in, just noticing. as we breathe and move on to the next person. That's the intention of the practice. Sharon Salzberg, one of the primary teachers of this practice, and she wrote a book called Loving Kindness. This is in certain traditions known as the Loving Kindness practice. She talks about how when she learned it, when she was in the 70s or 60s, like a lot of people who then came back and became teachers, they went to different places and learned from masters, these traditions that have been around for a while. And when she was told it, she was like, I don't like that. I don't see any point in that. I don't know why I should do it. And I certainly don't know why I should do it to myself. Like, don't even want to do it to myself. Raise your hand if you felt a little like it was just to offer it to yourself, was its own little interesting proposition. And sometimes the practice, they put yourself last. Like, we're working up to it because it's asking a bit much. And others, perhaps not so. But the person said, just do it. Unless it's causing you harm, just do it. Just recite it. Just go through the thing. But I don't believe it. I don't want to do it. I don't like it. I don't see the point. And he says, okay, well, if you're interested in this work, just do it. And then one day she recounts how, so she did, and then she wrote a book on it. And one day she recounts how she was at home, and she was always, and maybe still today some is, but she was always very harsh, and she was her own worst critic. She was her own worst critic. And one day she was in the kitchen and she was taking a jar to put something in, and the jar slipped out of her hand, hit the ground, and cracked, broke. And she said, "Oh, you stupid klutz." And then she said, "But I love you." And that follow-on, she never practiced that. It just came along with it. It just emerged to meet the critical voice. So anyway, it's offered to you as an invitation. And you read a little bit about it, and there could be more that you read about it. What other questions, yes, or comments or observations?
For me, it was actually the opposite with the difficult. I didn't pick a difficult person. I just picked someone that I'm like in a difficult situation with, and I'm angry at them right now.
Well, that's a better way of describing the difficult person. It's not so much them. They're just them. They're just a person. So that's a nice reframing. Thank you. It's a person with whom the interaction has a difficult quality to it.
No, I actually care about them a lot. It's for the last 24 hours or so, I've been really mad, and it's the only thing I can think about. So I think doing the practice helped in the sense that I was able to release that anger in a way. I don't feel as angry anymore, and it reminded me of the fact that I really care about them. So that was nice.
Yeah, good. I would say that nice. Nicely said, and importantly, experienced.
Me and Nina both said this right after we had difficulty separating, going to the next person transitioning. I know for myself, even when I was on the last person we were supposed to bring to mind, I was still kind of saying it all to all of the people. So I think maybe it would change more doing it, maybe not, who knows? But maybe because it was the first time doing it, it was just hard separating and transitioning.
Okay, that's so important. This is a practice of a lifetime. They're all practices of a lifetime. And things change, and our relationship to the practice and what it offers us, and the fluidity and the effortlessness, or the, whatever it might be, it emerges over time. In what ways is it a focused attention practice?
You have to bring your attention back to that person.
Well, forget the back part. Just in what way is it a focused attention practice?
You have an object.
You have an object. Yeah. And it could be yourself, it could be any of those. And then you, with the intention to
stay on that object.
And as you're staying on that object, to do what?
In this case, or the focused attention?
In this case, as part of, it is
You're thinking about that object and the phrases that we were saying.
Right, and you got to stay focused on it. If your mind wanders, you're going to where was I, right? And then, exactly, and then shift your focus.
Yeah.
And it's very important to be able to shift our focus. And oftentimes it's difficult to shift our focus for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it could be, nice reasons why it was difficult, why we hang on to something or don't want to necessarily So yes, what I appreciate about what you said among many things is it reminds us this has a focused attention quality to it. And back to the breath, right? So we back to the now to the next person, right? Very, very nice. Yes, William.
What should our object of attention be? There, is it the person we're thinking about, or is it like, because that's kind of where I struggled, is I guess changing that object of attention.
Well, if I say bring to mind a person that's been good to you, that would be the object of attention.
Okay.
The image or the sense of that person. Then when I say wish that person, may you be happy, the utterance, may you be happy, is now taking more of your attention. But we can have a sense of that person in the background. It would be like saying, here's a picture. Can I see your image?
Yep.
Okay. So this was you and your mom. So I would like bring to mind a sense of your mom. And you have this sense of it, right? And you're holding it in mind and working memory. And then I'm like, now wish for your mom, may you be happy. Now in the moment that you're thinking, may you be happy, that's where your attention is a little bit more. But you still have the ambient knowing of who you've brought to mind. May you be safe. So it's a little bit of a maybe back and forth, but it's so fast and they're so aligned that you can ask the question, which is a great question, where should my attention be? And it's a nuanced question, but it's in this ballpark of the thought you're uttering, or the wish you're uttering internally, and the image that you have in the background. And then when it's like now bring to mind a sense, and that's why I say allow this person, a sense of this person to recede into the background of awareness. They're sort of just like, they're not gone, but now you're bringing to mind your dog, right? And now wish, and so it's holding like we're always, if I'm talking and I'm writing this on the board, where's your attention as I'm writing it on the board? Is it on me talking? Is it on what I'm writing? And it's sort of like a brilliant vacillation or shifting back and forth, keeping in mind, and this is, but we know when we're somewhere else.
Right.
Is that helpful?
Yes, it is.
Is there a follow-on like to that, or is that?
I think it was, I just found it very easy for my mind to wander.
Yes.
That, so bringing it back to something, I didn't fully know where to bring it back to.
Okay, well, the pillars of this are yourself, a benefactor, champion, a neutral person, difficult person, a sense of everybody. Those are the pillars of we're placing our attention on, with the recitation of the same words. May you be safe, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you live with ease each time. And yes, the mind will wander, and this is why it is known as a different type of practice, but it has the elements of all the practices. Did you have it where you brought to mind the champion, the supportive person or being? Did you find that there was a feeling that maybe came along with that, or that there were some emotional aspects to the practice? And you could be aware of that too. That wouldn't be aware of a thought, that would be aware of the feeling or the sensations in the body. So all the practices are nestled into this. But it is a good question about what is the object, and it is following the instruction and then generating our own internal well wishes. Anybody else? Comment or a question? Okay, so practice. We'll talk more about that next week. The idea is to alternate though. Give this one a try so you get some familiarity with it, along with your focused attention or your body scan or your open monitoring, whatever it is for you that you're probably going to be writing about, because you want to get experience now. I would say we've got 9 weeks of class where you maybe learned 30% of what the class can offer you. Because over the next 3 weeks, or however you're writing your paper, now it can come together. Now you begin writing, you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. What am I missing? Oh, I realized I never even really understood that as well as I could have. And now you're reading about the practice you're going to be writing about from outside sources. You're going to be continuing to practice it as you're learning more about it. You're going to be, some of you are, bringing it into your lit skills experience. You had a lit skills experience, and you're going to be seeing how it may play out for the second part of the lit skills thing, and you noticed an area where some spirals were going, and you're making it a real world application and sort of seeing where it's going and writing about that in your paper. So we keep it real, and this is the intention. When we had our meetings, and I've met with most of you, we have a couple to go, I mentioned the handout that provides you with that instruction. This is going to be on the web page for you, but this is the final paper instructions. Would anybody like to have another one of these because you're not quite sure where you put it? If you know where it is, we're good, but if you're not quite sure, I want you to be able to have it. Okay. I'm gonna put this outside the door, my door, so you're always welcome to come by. But if you know now that it would be useful, you can take it before you leave. All right, you all have these. Yes, everybody have one? Okay, these are readings that I think will be part of your supplemental readings for learning more about some of these things that we've been exploring, including in your papers. So I offer these to you because as you go through them, you might find some more useful than others, and I may give you another one next week as well, so that you don't have to, so you can have it at the ready, things that I think would be useful. Yes?
Yeah,
Yes.
may I also?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Anybody else?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So, our dimes.
You're gonna tell us how many dimes there are?
We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay.
Oh,
I'm super curious
wow.
about the
He took the crazy over. 200. And I thought I was like, oh, right.
All right, so how many did you come up with?
4.
134.
134.
Okay, now I think I'm
But now I think that's a little too low.
236. 236.
So
Let's just gather information, notice the obstacles as we move around.
She put 257.
257.
289.
289. No, you're at 253.
I had 153.
153. Wait, how do we, is there somebody missing that?
Yeah, I read hers.
Livy, okay, gotcha. Lizzie.
She's in another class.
153.
And you nodded to sounds.
Okay, what else?
You're missing sounds.
Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, oh, Sam. Sorry, big
289.
oversight. 289? 289. DJ?
Said 100.
100. So don't worry, you can't feel that as bad anymore, right? You're like, oh, phew.
Yeah.
On his way off.
We're always comparing, aren't we, and finding some relief or something or dissatisfaction. 151.
333.
333.
Angel numbers.
444.
Yes.
444. A revision, but we'll take it.
240.
240.
203.
203. Isn't it amazing how you come up with these like
Yeah.
203 or 204? I don't know.
That was over budget.
177.
177.
That's a good one.
I meant 73.
217.
217.
167. I think he's trying.
167.
It's gonna be something so.
153.
153. Got two people with
It's gonna be like 53.
73.
73. DJ, you're okay.
115.
115. 106.
Between you guys, yeah.
476.
Oh, someone put 470.
300.
300.
Oh, who's it?
You're no longer big dog.
Oh, 324.
324.
I thought you said something. There's 300 choices.
You get everybody?
So don't
Yeah,
think there's
we
73.
Now raise your hand if, I'm just curious, I mean, you're supposed to have read what you wrote on your card. Did anybody make a last minute like shift? Like you
Wow.
Wow.
you went down, didn't you?
I looked at the pile again. I said,
What was it going to be?
176.
That's where you ended up?
476.
Why'd you make that shift?
Second look, it just looked like a lot more. Started thinking of piles of 10. I was like, I can make a bunch of piles of 10.
Okay. All right. So first of all, just so we can be clear on a couple things.
Did you hand count these?
1, 2, yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 25, 30, 35,
It's
40,
56.
Okay,
we know I lost.
51, 52,
Start looking at it.
55.
like bigger clams.
They look like so this is 55,
That's 55.
60,
Oh my god, so 400 may not be off.
70, 75,
400 is off. It's
80, 92, 99, 100. So there's 100. Okay. So
I think everyone's wrong.
Yeah. 476.
So I remember this.
I think I'm still wrong.
So the first time I did this, I was, or not one of the first times, many years ago when I did this. Maybe I went to a big accounting firm to do a mindfulness training, and I did this as part of it. And these are accountants, like they spend their whole life counting money, and of course this is like an absurd. Just so you know, you're not going to ever have it where somehow your fortunes, or well, I don't know if that's the case, but you're certainly not going to have it where how well you do in the practice of law and whether you appeal to a client or not, or whether you prevail in court or not, has anything to do necessarily with the ability to somehow do something that the brain's not necessarily wired to do, serves no actual purpose. I could have had a thing of grains of sand, but their answer was, and this was the senior partner of this firm and a very brilliant person, 350. I remember they said 350. And when they said 350, of course I didn't show this because I was like inside going, oh my God, how wrong could they be? They're an accountant. So anyway, the answer is 1,440.
Wow.
73.
So our revision.
I have no spatial awareness. It's okay.
No, me neither. That's why I get stressed. That's why I start like sweating. I'm like, I'm gonna get it wrong.
What if one of us did get it right? Would it
You're
have
like,
been a
there's
contest?
definitely not more than
No,
150.
nothing is, even contests are just experiences that come and go.
Freaked out if somebody got it right.
That'd be crazy.
Why do I put 1,440?
You have no spatial awareness, just none.
Why 1,440?
It's 140.
1440.
You just
That's
take
what,
off the zero.
that's what I was thinking.
Man.
I thought it was an 8.
I said it was $14.
No.
It's 140.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank God.
Sorry.
So,
Is it a birthday?
no.
I have to do it on.
It could be.
You took it out of rolls.
That many minutes in a day?
Because it's
Scores in a day.
Oh my god.
Oh, Ethan is on
2 for 2
today.
We have 1,440 minutes in a day. And if you're practicing mindfulness for 6 minutes,
So you would have sold that for $14.
oh, the distracting mind. This is the invitation to practice. This has been the invitation you wake up with this every day, that you have the gift of waking up. You wake up with potentially this until you wake up the next day. And our mindfulness practice invites us to practice for this. Or Daniel Zhang, 2-3 minutes, 6 minutes, 12 minutes, whatever that is. So, we oftentimes, raise your hand if you sometimes feel that you don't have enough time to get something done. Well, we have the time we have, and usually we have more time than we imagine if we could utilize our time efficiently, stay on task, or at least minimize how off task we are. So we grossly underestimate how many dimes we have. We grossly underestimate how many minutes we have. It's part of that feeling, a very tight sense of urgency that can come along. But part of what we're doing with our mindfulness practice body scan's a nice one in this regard, but they all are, is we're noticing the sense of urgency as it takes hold in the body. Because it's a belief informed by sensations in the body that are not necessarily in alignment with reality. And it could be nice to notice, or even to be a little more resilient in the face of that discomfort, because it may not go away, but we can still stay the course of what we have to get done, and probably finish it a lot sooner, or more effectively, skillfully, we might have otherwise. Alrighty. We have 10 minutes. Let us stand. Did we get into the landscape of the mind in the last week or two since this was handed out? Did we talk about it? Did we go through the freeway of flow and the, thank you. All right, so we're gonna add a little bit to our So Be Mindful practice. Now I can take this out because the jig is up. So a little space between you and your neighbor. And remember, of the many practices we've learned, whether you spray aroma and you just sit and spend a few minutes just noticing the aroma when your mind wanders coming back. What is the aroma? It is the object of attention. Or whether we sit outside and we draw something, it's the object of attention. When we notice our mind wandering, this keeps it as simple as it can be framed. And so to this movement practice. And this week you'll have a chapter on movement, but we'll need to talk about do not interrupt and the core concerns before we break. So, which element is this?
Tree.
Tree. So we'll go through the first 4 elements as we've done before, and then I'll add 2 more elements that maybe I did once, but I'm not sure. But it will add our gratitude and our kindness in a way, the connection practice. So, standing, aware of the posture, upright and steady. You could lower or close your eyes, but if I'm doing this, I'm sort of outdoors, I'm looking around, I want my eyes open. Just a reminder that eyes open, eyes closed, it doesn't matter. It's the practice is one of balancing and cultivating awareness and attention. Turning our attention to the feet, making contact with the ground, the sensations of our feet, which, by the way, might sound very much like a sitting practice that we do. So these all have way more in common than not. The arms come up, taking a gentle stretch. The fingers, the leaves. Arms come up. Look around. 3 more weeks together with some of us, maybe 2, because of tests and other things. Let's look at our forest. Maybe even look at somebody. You don't have to make obvious eye contact, a la Peyton, but and just bring someone to mind and wish for them, may you be happy. Just bring someone in this classroom to mind and wish for them, may you be happy. Let them come to you at random or because you choose. And then we come down and we take 3 slower, deeper breaths, breathing in and out. Breathing in. And if you like box breathing, you can just breathe in, hold, exhale, hold. So it's adaptable to, or you just breathe, you're not even slowing it down and you're just aware, breathing in and breathing out. So this is yours. Triangle, line, box, the natural breath. Arms come up, the clouds. And as the hands move across the field of our vision, clouds like hands, like clouds, like thoughts and feelings, coming and going. We get to the end, one hand goes down, one hand goes up. You can't get this wrong because thoughts and feelings are going to keep coming no matter what. Clouds are going to keep coming no matter what. And we remind ourselves, thoughts and feelings come and go. That is their nature. And one of the best ways of attending to them, if that's our objective, is to redirect your attention to something else. They're gone. But they already were gone. We just stopped thinking about them. It's a reminder that this too shall pass, among other things. The arms come down. And the connection practice that we've been doing all along, we bring someone to mind, anyone, and wish for them, may you be happy. Or any of the other offerings that you might want to make to this person. Don't miss this. Let's pause for a second. If we're going too fast and you've sort of we're thinking about something, let's bring that person to mind. Like right now, I'm having trouble bringing someone to mind. Okay. May you be happy. Then these are the rays of sun, spreading of our own warmth and kindness, because this is the sun, this element. And we wish for ourselves. May I be, and fill in the blank. Safe, happy, healthy, living with ease. These are the standard, tried and true. But you can tinker with it. May I find ease in that relationship breakup. May I find comfort and passing of my dear. And then we wish it for everyone, or as wide as you'd like it to be. May everyone, may all beings be happy. So we just did the connection practice, but we did it in a, streamlined way. Now the element is the bird, the flapping of the wings. Does anybody remember from a mindful space or from this class what this represents?
Wisdom and compassion.
That's the light. This is the bird.
I was just reading from the book, to be honest.
What does the bird represent?
Freedom.
That's a nice one too. Listening. To just listen. It's like you're flying way overhead and you've got this real bird's eye view and you're just listening. It's one of the most natural awareness practices. Of course, if you're thinking about something, it'll interfere unless you're listening to your thoughts. And then we move to the last element, the butterfly. So it's a gentle flapping of the wings of the butterfly. The butterfly represents gratitude. And you bring to mind something or someone for which you feel grateful. The way I've adapted this, because we don't always see butterflies, this whole practice, the So Be Mindful practice, is meant to have it when we're outside and we see the tree, we turn our attention to the body. When we feel the breeze, we take a slower, deeper breath. When we see the sun or feel its warmth, we wish kindness or warmth to somebody else or to ourselves. When we see a bird, we just listen, meaning not every time we see, but a periodic reminder. It's a present moment pivot that just pops up, opportunity. And butterflies, we don't see that often, but we do see flowers that butterflies land on. So when you see a flower this week, or a butterfly, pause and bring to mind someone or something for whom you feel gratitude. So we let the world around us wake us up, remind us, because we can forget. So 3, flapping of the butterfly's wings, bringing to mind someone, even ourselves, grateful for, because you're all pretty amazing and accomplished in your own ways, works in progress to be sure, just like me. A lot to be grateful for, who you are, who you're becoming. And then these become the eyes of the tiger. I'm adding this. This isn't part of the formal practice, but I like to share this. Eyes of the tiger within, courage, strength, all these noble qualities. And this comes from the Taoist tradition. We embrace the tiger within, and then the arms come apart and we return to the mountain. Embrace tiger, return to mountain. Came here 9-10 weeks ago. We're on the mountain then, we're on the mountain now, we just get lost along the way. So it's a reminder, we're already here. There's nothing that you've learned, you've learned things, but there's nothing that's in your toolkit that wasn't already there. All right, we take our seat, we have just a minute or two, so I want to share a couple of, first the invitation to do that practice. You all said nice, you all did a nice tracking of the core concerns. core concerns is saying, let us remember appreciation, autonomy, status, role, affiliation in those around us at various times when they may not be in as steady, upbeat, emotionally ready state. We can check in and wonder to ourselves, maybe they're not feeling appreciated. Maybe they're not feeling that they have a role to play. Maybe they're not feeling like they're a sense of community, a sense of affiliation. Maybe they are feeling that they don't have status. They're sort of like been diminished or powerless. And affiliation, autonomy. Maybe they feel like they're being controlled, and we can offer things. We can say things. This can be in your personal relationships. This can be in your study relationships with classmates. This can be in your work relationships. We have to be aware that there's a dip in somebody else's level of engagement. And then we, rather than try to figure out what's going on, as many of you noted, it's hard to like figure it out. We can though check in. This is like a little rubric. Which of these 5 things might not be, and then to offer something up that might bolster it. So this week, continue to practice do not interrupt as you choose. And in your interactions with others, periodically, especially when you detect sort of if they were just a little bit more steady and feeling good, maybe they'd have a little bit more to offer this interaction. Maybe you're playing a role in that, maybe you're not playing a role in that, but you might be able to offer something up that could, and so to bear that in mind is a technique. It's a negotiation technique as you read about, but it's a communication technique. And if we're in a naturally mindful and connected state, we probably would do it naturally. But we can remind ourselves, because in those moments we ourselves might be affected. And as we'll talk about next week, we can offer it to ourselves as well. All right, thank you all for a very nice Friday together. Wishing you all a good weekend.
Spiral.
Oh, your spirals. Okay. See, the problem with making a list is if it's not on the list, it is too dependent on the list. Please bring your spirals next week. We will begin early next week by talking about the spirals. And if you have another spiral moment, just write it alongside it. We'll make a special note of it.